Beijing. Joining me now to discuss Bianco Research President Jim Bianco. Jim, listen, I know Wall Street guys aren't fans of tariffs, but there's a huge spike in companies that are now saying that onshoring is happening, deglobalization has begun. So I want your thoughts on that.
Yeah, first of all, you're absolutely right. Wall Street does not like tariffs. You can remove them. You just get fatter profit margins, and that is music to their ears, as you said. As far as the onshoring thing goes, there's a bit of a mixed bag. A lot of people are talking about onshoring. Some companies are moving towards it. But there's a deep skepticism that this will actually become a thing long term on Wall Street, because the belief is that you can onshore all you want, but the cheapest source of whatever product you're talking about is still going to be Asia, most likely China. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be that push-pull between national security and reliance on supply chains versus cheap products.
Yeah.
That is a new conversation. We haven't had that conversation before. But right now, Wall Street still thinks the cheap product thing is going to win out. No,
there's no doubt about that. I just say, okay, let's add in, I don't know how many billions we've already sent to Ukraine, but let's say ultimately we have to help chip in for $1 trillion to rebuild Ukraine. Fast forward 10 years from now, 15 years from now, maybe we spend $5 trillion to help rebuild Taiwan after we've lost thousands of American soldiers and lives. I mean, someone's got to be forward thinking on all of this and say, maybe smaller margins now will save us from a lot of heartbreak, lost lives, and treasure in the future. Let me ask you about this. I saw you tweeted about this, and I think it's really intriguing. And it goes hand in hand. Larry Summers warning about this war, essentially a war against big business, adding to inflationary pressures. There's no doubt about that. These large businesses have the leverage. But should we be rooting now for big businesses?
It is a difficult question to answer, because we should be thinking about reshoring. We should be thinking about security. But that's easy to say when companies have to meet quarterly numbers, when they have to meet yearly numbers. And their pressures are constantly on to produce now, not being able to think about the big picture. Mm-hmm. And when you talk about giving companies incentives to reduce their reliance on Asia and maybe reshoring and security, then it just gets called corporate welfare. And that's got a dirty name as well, too. So I understand all of the arguments for it, and I wouldn't be against some kind of a movement towards reshoring. But the fact of the matter is no one's going to voluntarily do it because it means higher costs right away. There has to be an incentive. And while we all talk about it, I don't see anybody showing up with incentives right now.
And to your point, if Target stock can get smacked 25% in one day, just from missing one quarterly earnings report, then no one's going to want to risk that over and over again. I got to get your thoughts on Lagarde saying that crypto is worthless, is worth nothing, but it should be regulated. I know someone like you who takes a really smart approach to Bitcoin in particular, but this whole DeFi, decentralized revolution. They keep coming at you. They keep saying that this thing is worthless, and they keep attacking it.
Yeah, if it's worthless, it doesn't need regulation. It's just made up monopoly money. So which one is it? Does it matter or doesn't it matter? But I do think it does show that when the price is down and when there was a dark day a couple of weeks ago with the failure of the Terra blockchain, that their real colors come out, that they're very worried about this type of decentralized finance revolution. It makes people like the ECB or the Federal Reserve or the FDIC less important, because you could replace banks in some instances with a computer algorithm that runs automatically. So I can understand their fears, but I got to say, this is not going to go away. Yeah. It's too entrenched, it's too global, and it's going to become a thing. Now, it may take longer because of what's happened over the last couple of weeks, and there may still be dark days ahead, but that's the way all new technology is. And this is going to be no different.
Yeah, me think that now Christine Lagarde protests a little bit too much. I'm with you there, Jim. Thanks a lot, buddy. Yeah. Love our conversations. Talk to you again real soon, I hope. Meanwhile, folks, earnings season, it's winding